Okay, so after you have watched the intro to inequalities, we are going to start solving one step. If you had an equation, what would you do? What's the first thing you would do? Hopefully you would recognize to subtract 4 on each side of the equal sign. Those add out, so you're left with x equal to 8. Solving for an inequality is no different. There's only one thing in all the inequalities that are different from linear equations, and I will get there in a second. So if I solve and I had, let's say this were an inequality, because it does not have an equal sign, you would still do the exact same thing. Those add out, bring down your x, bring down your 8, and then make sure you bring down the sign. Common error is for people just to get in the habit of putting that equal sign in there. So I have 0 and 8. Is it open or closed? It's open because it does not have the equal to part, and I read it from x is less than 8. All the numbers that are less than 8. Okay, x over 4 is greater than or equal to 12. Still want to get rid of the 4. So I'm going to do the inverse by multiplying both sides by 4. 4's cancel. So x and 48. And bring down the sign. So x has to be greater than or equal to 48. Greater than or equal to, it has that equal to piece, so that means it has to be closed on the 48 and all the numbers that are greater than 48. Okay, the only thing that is different in all of solving inequalities is this. If you have to divide or multiply both sides by a negative number, so the 2's would cancel, negatives would cancel, you'd bring down the x, and you'd bring down the negative 4. The only thing that would be different is you have to flip the sign. So this is less than, it is now going to be greater than. So x is greater than negative 4. Does not have the equal to, so it's open circle, and everything greater than. Okay, so if you multiply or divide each side by a negative number, you must flip the sign. Okay, let's do a couple more practice problems. Okay, so if we have this scenario, in order to get rid of the negative 5, I have to multiply both sides by negative 5. 5's cancel, negatives cancel. So in the following step, I'm bring down my x, bring down my negative 60. I just multiplied both sides by negative, so I have to switch the sign from greater than down to less than, and then solve. Okay, let's do this. So notice that kind of threw a little loop in by having the variable on the right side. You're not going to change the rules at all. You still need to get rid of the negative 4, so I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 4. 4's cancel, negatives cancel. The most common error is for people to try to do 2 steps in one. So they try to get the variable on the left and accommodate for dividing by a negative number at the same time. So we are going to do one thing at a time. Negative divided by negative gives you a positive 2. We just divided by a negative number, so we are going to have to switch the sign, and we are left with an x. Now I'm going to rewrite it and put x is greater than or equal to 2. So one step at a time. This is the only difference from now all the way through solving multi-step inequalities is just if you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, then you must flip the sign.